All right, Phil, thank you very much. Joining us right now, you see right here, attorney Gloria Allred. She's covered a number of high-profile cases on your own. So you already see how Durst attorneys are playing this. We have yet to see Durst here in L.A., but it still remains to be seen whether or not this case could stand on its own. They're already saying it's all Hollywood. This is all done in conjunction with that documentary. It still remains to be seen.
Well, yes, and of course the documentary that was on HBO called The Jinx and about Robert Durst and the allegation that he had killed at least 3 people, that, that led to a conclusion that I think would cause many people to believe that he murdered Susan Berman, who was a very close friend and in fact was a spokesperson for him when he was being accused of the murder in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Kathleen Durst. So, yes, now what's interesting is he, of course, was in New Orleans. What was he doing there with the latex mask, head to neck, with large amount of cash, with his passport, with a loaded revolver, with some marijuana? Was he going to flee to Cuba? Was he afraid that that last showing of the HBO documentary on Sunday night was going to cause him to be arrested? He was, of course, arrested the night before in New Orleans, where he was at a hotel under a fake name, registered under a fake name. So it's all very suspicious.
So if you're Durst's lawyer, though, and all of this information has come out because of those search warrants, I mean, this is tough to defend. He was either having some crazy party in New Orleans or he was planning on fleeing. I mean, everything points to that. And then you have to defend, why would he?
Well, the question is that consciousness of guilt? On the other hand, Dick DeGarian, who is a fabulous criminal defense lawyer, and who defended him in Texas when Robert Durst was accused of killing and then chopping up and discarding the remains of Morris Black. And it ended in not a conviction, at least not on the murder charge, but in fact an acquittal, because he gave a self-defense defense.
That was incredible.
And apparently the head of Morris Black, may he rest in peace, was never recovered. So the jury had some doubt about whether it was murder or not, and they acquitted him. So, but now on Susan Berman, I think key evidence is the letter, the so-called cadaver letter, where the handwriting or the printing appears to match the letter that was in the possession of Susan Berman. And of course, there's the misspelling of Beverly in Beverly Hills in both, the same misspelling, all very suspicious. Is it enough to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt? That's what we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Judge Jeanine Pirro said the same thing. We'll wait and see what happens to that. Tonight you're going to a vigil for this gentleman, Salome Rodriguez, who was killed by a LAPD officer, shot allegedly by an LAPD officer.
Yes.
And by all accounts, a nice man. Very
nice. And you're going to hear tonight at the vigil, which is 7:30 in Pomona, across from the church. And I know you're going to provide information about exactly where it is, so the public is invited. Solomon's mother is going to be there, his father, other members of the family. This is so hard.
And you represent this family.
I do represent the family now. And
what are they looking for?
Well, of course, they're looking for justice and they're looking for truth. The police officer who cannot be found, some people fear that he has fled, Henry Solis, did not report for work the morning after the tragic death of Solomon, and so he's nowhere to be found. His car has been found, apparently abandoned. He's on the lam. He has been fired yesterday by Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck. There is an arrest warrant out for him. So, but tonight we're having the vigil, and you're going to hear tonight much more about Solomon and the person that he really was.
And we do want to point out the shooting did happen off duty. It was a bar fight that happened, and then after that, apparently, the shooting took place.
Well, we don't know that it was a bar fight.
Yeah.
So this is still under investigation. So I would caution just everyone not to jump to conclusions about what happened. However, having said that, I think that we can, draw a lot of conclusions from the fact that Henry Solis, who was an officer, was fired, that in fact there is an arrest warrant out for him, and that
he's now on the lam.
He's no longer apparently in Los Angeles. At least he appears to have fled.
You have also represented many of the accusers that have come out in recent weeks, months really, to accuse Bill Cosby of sexual assault. All of them, majority of them, have a very, very similar story. But what are these women looking for?
And there will be
the
more.
statute of limitations.
Yeah, and there will be more in the future. I can assure you of that. I have more who will be speaking out. Well, they are looking. I was in Nevada last Friday testifying before the legislature with one of my clients, an alleged victim of Bill Cosby, who was victimized, she alleges, by him in Nevada. And I have many of my victims were alleged they were victimized by him there as well. We're looking in Nevada to eliminate the statute of limitations for criminal prosecution of Bill Cosby or any other person who may have raped or sexually assaulted anyone or is accused of it. So the legislature, the Judiciary Committee of the Assembly in Nevada is going to vote. They're going to vote by April 10th, if not before. And then it would go to the full House, then it will go to, or the Assembly, and then it'll go to the Senate. And then if it passes there, it will go to the governor for his signature into law. What we're looking for is a day in court. Justice for these alleged victims or for any other person who accuses someone of rape or sexual assault.
And if you don't get that day in court, would him coming out and acknowledging any of this mean anything to
Yes,
the
it
alleged
would.
victims?
And by the way, it may not end up being retroactive, so it may not help those alleged victims, but certainly would help any other person who alleges they were raped or sexually assaulted in the future. And that's also very important.
Really quickly, we're looking at this video of Bill Cosby here. This was just over a week ago. You probably saw the video.
I did.
He said, "I am far from finished." What's your reaction to that when he
This was
posts this
released?
video?
Well, he says he's far from finished, but I can assure him I'm far from finished with him as well. He is going to continue his concert tour. I led a protest against him outside the theater in Denver, Colorado when he appeared there. Bill Cosby will never know where I'm going to show up, but I can assure him I will be showing up again. I will be showing up again with more alleged victims. He doesn't get to forget this. He does need to take responsibility and acknowledge each and every allegation that has been made and either accept it, say admit it, or deny it. That's what he should be doing instead of telling jokes about putting something in a drink, about jokes about women being raped. This is not a laughing matter. And he may be trying to use this as some kind of marketing technique to show that I'm innocent, I'm going to continue. But you know what? Why doesn't he just accept my challenge to invite these women to sue him and let a judge and jury decide? That's what we think would be fair.
All right, Gloria Allred, thanks so much for joining us.